Alright, scale drawing is just a proportional two-dimensional drawing where the dimensions of an object are either enlarged or increased or decreased. So it's going to be either bigger or smaller. Okay. And the scale factor, which is right below it, it's the ratio. So it tells like what, because a factor is just a multiplication problem. So if it's going from smaller to big, you're going to multiply it by some number that's probably greater than 1, or we could have a fraction, which you'll see as we do these. Okay? Scale model is just a two-dimensional model, okay, of an object. All right, so first the scale factor is here, and the scale factor always goes from the smallest to the largest. Okay, so if the blueprint of a room, that's the small one, so we just write it as a fraction. So if we have 18 inches over 144 inches, well, if we want to know the scale factor, basically it says what can we simplify this by? Well, we can divide both of these by 18 actually. So just simplify that just means that for every 1 inch on the scale model, well, 144 divided by 18 is 8. It's 8 inches on the big model. So we would multiply anything on the small model by 8 to get to the big one. Okay? But this is called the scale factor. Okay? Or the scale. Okay? Alright, next one. So a photograph was enlarged to make a poster, so the poster is bigger. So the poster is 20.5 inches by 36 inches. And the scale factor, to go from the smaller to the bigger one, we're multiplying it by 5. To find the dimensions of the photograph, we just take both of these and divide it by 5. So we take 20.5 and divide it by 5. We take 36 and divide it by 5. And I'm going to put this in the calculator. And you'll see what the dimensions of the photograph were. So 20.5 divided by 5 is 4.1. So that's the one dimension, 4.1 inches of the photograph. And then 36 divided by 5 is 7.2 inches. Now, if we if they gave us the dimensions of the photograph and wanted the poster, then we would multiply by 5. But we're going from bigger to smaller, so we have to actually flip this around and divide by this to get the smaller dimensions. Okay, here's your scale. 1.5 inches is equal to 60 miles. And then they say if the distance is on a map 7.5 inches, we need to know what is that actual distance. So to solve proportions, we multiply those two diagonally and divide by the third. So let's see, 60 times, let's get this right, 60 times 7.5 equals 450 divided by 1.5 is 300. So the actual distance, if you were driving it, would be 300 miles. All right, those are your notes for today.